This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 8th year of talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, there's Alex and this is the Ramble, and we go until midnight tonight from New York. Hey folks, guess who we got here? Our regular weekly guest, and he's going to put on a hat. You watch, he's going to put on a hat. Oh boy. Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a different day.
It's the Unabomber. It's the Unabomber.
That's right.
It's a
if I was a Unabomber, I would have blown myself up.
Yeah. Now you say you got new glasses there?
Got new glasses, new apartment.
Yeah. Why'd you get new glasses? Were the old ones getting a little bit foggy or whatever?
The old ones I couldn't see so well.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I'm having trouble lately. You know, it got to the point where after I had this eye thing done, my vision started degrading. I had I was for for a long time I didn't have to read anything on the screen here. I mean, I didn't have to put on glasses, and now I have to. Ever since I had these, the eyes opened up, I don't know. That and this drug I take, this pregabalin, also blurs your vision.
Oh, you and the pregabalin.
Yeah, well,
I take pregabalin. It doesn't make me loopy like you.
Yeah, well, that's because you had so many drugs in you over your lifetime.
What, me?
That it goes easy.
Come on now.
You know, it's easy for you. You know, me, I'm very sensitive to drugs. I just, I mean, I took the pregabalin last night, and I'm fine. I'm not, you're hearing me talk. I'm coherent.
Right.
I'm remembering most things that I should remember at almost 83 years of age, So I'm fine. But my vision gets blurry from it. And that's one of the side effects of it. I don't know if your vision gets blurry, but you don't know. You're wearing your glasses.
Right.
Yeah. And do you wear those for seeing far away? I mean,
for both seeing far away. See,
I don't have trouble with, I don't have to wear glasses in a car, for instance, when I'm driving.
Right.
But
I wear them all the time. But
I'm finding that now, it used to be I could sit here at the screen and see everything on the screen just right, and I'm having a problem with it now, So.
Well, you're not a spring chicken anymore.
Don't rub that in. Who is a spring chicken? If I were a spring chicken, I'd have feathers. But anyway.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
We'll be here all week.
Yeah. So you said you were going to do a thing with the Comedy Store in L.A.
Right.
And what is that exactly?
It's telling stories. Like I want to tell the story about how I became a paid regular.
Oh, so it's about stories of you and the Comedy Store.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to tell a story about Memphis. I was playing Memphis, and they told me, don't talk about Jesus and don't talk about Elvis. So I open up with some butt-fucking Elvis with a crucifix.
Oh, jeez. Did you really?
Yeah, I really did.
And how'd that go over?
It went over well. Surprisingly. Well, I was so messed up, who knew?
Who knew?
I had giant cojones.
So anyway, this thing the Comedy Store is doing, I guess they're going and getting people who played the Comedy Store and having them tell stories about the Comedy Store.
Right.
Yeah. Comedy Store, folks, is a comedy club in L.A. that was originally owned by Mitzi Shore.
Right.
Whose son is Pauly Shore.
Right.
And I think he used to get good times at that place, right?
Pauly?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pauly got the best shots.
And her husband was originally
Sammy Shore.
Sammy Shore. Now there's a
he used to open up for Elvis.
There's a great comedy name. Sammy Shore. Here's Sammy
Right.
Shore. You know, was that his real name?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Well, Mitzi Shore, it's his real last name. His name happens to be Sammy.
Yeah, yeah. So what happened with him? Did he die or she divorced him or?
She divorced him. She got the Comedy Store in the divorce.
Yeah. And the kid.
And the 4 kids.
The 4 kids. Wow.
Right.
Now, when you were at the Comedy Store, when did you first appear at the Comedy Store? I see, playing the Comedy Store is a big deal. I mean, the people who
Right.
came out of there were people like Letterman came out of the Comedy Store, Kinnison came out of the Comedy
Right.
Store. I mean, almost everybody. Gary
Right.
Shandling. I mean, we could go on and on and on.
Right.
All worked at the Comedy Store at one point. And
I started working there in '85. And check this out. You had to showcase for Mitzi to become a paid regular.
Mhm.
But I never showcased. I'm down in LA. I just finished doing the comedy competition.
Mhm.
I came in 4th. So I took that and I ran down to LA with the momentum, you know?
Mhm.
And I get to the Comedy Store. My first night I'm there, I run into Sam Kinison. And he says, "Oh my God, it's the Angel of Death." And then I turn around, there's Robin Williams. And he goes, "Kravitz, you're still alive." Boom, I'm a paid regular.
Really, you didn't have, because all these people recognized you.
Right.
You didn't have
Right.
to. You didn't have to audition.
And they all vouched for me also.
They-
They all said, he's a good comic.
Really? Oh, God.
Right.
Yeah. Well, see, that's good. If Robin Williams said you were good, she must have won. Oh, okay, put him on.
Right, right.
So do you?
And Sam, I'd worked with Sam up in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Every time he came up to San Francisco, I worked with him.
Yeah. So he
So-
knew you from up there.
Right. So when I came down, I was just basically, I showed up one night, and after that, I started getting paid. I started getting spots.
Now, let me ask you this question: did you start doing movies before that point or after that?
The first movie I did was in '83, and I
Now-
was still in San Francisco. I
And-
got to San Francisco in '81.
And what was the movie?
Sudden Impact.
Sudden Impact. Clint Eastwood.
Right.
You can't
Dirty
be-
Harry.
You can't beat that.
You got me my SAG card.
Yeah, got you your SAG card, and you said he was delightful to work with.
Oh yeah, I told you this story, didn't I? So I'm on location, and I got like 25 cents to my name.
Right.
So I'm eating food and I'm stealing food. I'm eating food and I'm stealing food.
In
Right,
other words,
I
you're
know you-
eating some of the food from the craft services, and then you're putting some of it in your pocket.
Right, because I got to eat that night because, I'm on location.
Yeah.
And I feel a paw, not a hand, a paw on my shoulder. And I look up and it's Eastwood.
Yeah.
And he says, "You don't have to steal it, Stephen. You can have it." And then he gives me $50 and he says, "Make sure you eat while you're here." And every day he came up to me at meal and he said, "Have you had enough to eat? Is everything okay?" He would check up on me. How cool is that?
Wow, that's good.
And then the rap party, I'm actually there with the woman that I'm sharing this apartment with now.
Hmm.
And he walks all the way across the room. He introduces himself to her and he says, "A pleasure working with Stephen. Pleasure blowing him away."
Because he kills you in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, wait a minute. You say you were on location, but the location was San Francisco, wasn't it?
No, it was Santa Cruz and then San Francisco. I shot a couple of days in Santa Cruz and a couple of days in San Francisco.
So what was Santa Cruz? I mean, was that doubling as San Francisco?
Yeah, the courtroom.
Yeah. The courtroom was in Santa Cruz?
Right, right. And then we shot under, like, down by the piers. Under where the Bay Bridge, under the Bay Bridge.
Yeah.
That's where we shot the car scene.
Yeah.
Where I go after him with a baseball bat.
Right.
And I'm supposed to take out his back window. And I'm thinking, I'm going to be leaning out the window and the bat's going to be bouncing off the back window. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
But in those days, I had muscles. And I
Yeah.
broke the back window in one swing. The whole thing exploded. We drive up next to him. And it's like they said, They said, "So we call the stunt guys to do this?" And Eastwood said, "No, these guys are having a ball. Let them do it." So we got to do our own stunts.
Wow. And you can see that in the movie Sudden Impact if you can find it somewhere. I'm sure you can probably find it on like HBO Max, as most of the old Clint Eastwood films that were Warner Brothers. And you just go to that, and you'll see the scene where these three thugs are following Dirty Harry, and then they're trying to push him off the road or whatever.
Right. We throw Molotov cocktails in his car.
Mm-hmm.
I got to throw a Molotov. I got to break his back window and throw a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah. And
I actually got it in on the first try.
Now let me ask you, you're leaning out the window to do this.
Right.
Right? Was anybody holding on to you to make sure you didn't fall out of the window?
No.
No? Wow. See, but you had fun doing that.
Oh, I had a ball. Are you kidding?
I mean, look what I'm doing to Clint Eastwood.
Right. Like I'm a threat to Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. But it's amazing. He didn't direct that picture, did he?
Yes.
Oh, he did. Okay. So he was your director and your co-star.
Right, and he would always say a moment for the actors. A moment for the actors before we shot the scene.
Yeah.
It was always a moment, and he only did 2 takes. He just did 2 takes, and he would say print 1 or print 2. Check the gate, print 1, print 2, and that was it. Moving on.
You know, that's actually good directing. Because
yeah, it's very good directing.
Number one, you're not exhausting your actors.
Right.
Okay. Which, it's horrible. There are people who go for like 50 takes because they don't like the ones they've gotten. And finally, when they finally do the take that is good, it's just like the first one they did. You know?
Right.
And Spielberg learned this years ago. He got known as a guy who just spent too much money and too much time on movies doing 50 takes of everything. And by the time he had a bad reputation, he got to George Lucas, who said, "I'll let you make the movie, but keep it on budget." And he learned how to do everything in a couple of takes.
Right.
You know, and to be happy with them, you know.
Right.
So that's a good director.
Well, if you know what you're doing, Alex, you only need a couple of takes.
Right.
You know? And like I said, with Eastwood, there was a pause before we shot, a moment for the actors where you decided what you were going to do.
Yeah.
And acting is reacting. I mean, if the guy you work in a scene with is doing their job, then all you're doing is reacting to them.
Right. And most of you didn't have many lines in that picture because most of the time you were just reacting to the guys around you, giving him a bad time, and then he, I think in the scene in the elevator, goes up against one of your guys.
Right.
And pushes him up against the wall, and don't you ever...
And then he throws him up against me.
Yeah. And you have a surprised look on your face.
Right. And then the cool thing is they gave me not a plastic bat. What do you want to call it? I had a real bat when I took out the window, but when they had the camera truck, right? You're driving down the road and there's a camera truck right next to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm swinging at the camera, but I'm just swinging on both sides of the camera. And then they cut that in, so it looks like I'm really just beating the hell out of his car.
Yeah. And adding sound effects and everything else.
Oh, right.
So
I think my line was, "There he goes."
Really?
Yeah, as he drove by, I was like, "There he goes."
I don't think you even had a line in the courtroom, did you? You just reacting in the elevator.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But boy, that must have been that's got to be a thrill for you, because sometimes your first movie is like, a B movie.
Right.
And here you are in an A movie with Clint Eastwood.
With Clint Eastwood. Clint fucking Eastwood.
Clint fucking Eastwood. Probably
How cool is that?
Probably at that point one of the biggest stars in the world.
Oh yeah. That was like at the peak of his career.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Dirty Harry the third film in the Dirty Harry trilogy? I think it was Dirty Harry, Magnum Force, and then
Sudden Impact.
Yeah. Wow. That was So go watch it, folks. There's Steve. Also,
and the other guy, there was one guy who had the most lines, and he was already in the union. And then there was me and this other guy, and Eastwood said, make sure they have lines. Make sure they have lines so they get their SAG cards. Because in those days you had to do a SAG film to get a SAG card. Now you can just buy into SAG. You don't even have to do a movie.
You don't even have to do a movie to join SAG?
Not anymore.
Jeez. Because, well, I'm a member of SAG because the two unions merged.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So, you know, it's, I mean, I always wanted to be in a movie. That was one of my bucket list things. I wanted to be in a movie. You know, even just for 5 seconds. You know.
Right. I bet I did around 20.
About 20 films?
Yeah.
I'll have to look up your IMDb. In fact, hold on a second. I will look
If it's up to date. It might not have all the films I was in.
Let's see here. IMDb.
I did a lot of films for Corman.
DB, okay. IMDb. And then I bring this up here. And then I go to, let me see here. Steven Kravitz.
Well, don't forget, Alex. I did a series.
Yeah, that would be here too.
22 episodes.
Stephen Kravitz. Oh, there you are. It doesn't have your picture though. I don't think there is your picture. Well, wait a minute. Well, no, there's a trailer of The Animal, which you were in.
Right.
But here, let's see here. Where are the films? Actors, previous. Let me see here. Let me just. Known for Howard the Duck.
Yeah, I tend to forget that one.
Howard the Duck, Sudden Impact, The Animal, and The Hot Chick. So you did 2 films with Rob Schneider. Huh?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Let me see here. Known for, but where is it? Where does it say? Actor, Hot Chick, Sting of the Black Scorpion.
Yeah, right. Did 2 films, Black Scorpion 2, and then I did Black Scorpion the series.
Oh, really?
That was what we
Yeah,
did.
here it is. Here it says 22 episodes. And did you have a major role in that? You must have, if
Yes.
you lasted for 22 episodes.
Right, I was in every episode.
Those were the days when they did 22 episodes.
Right.
Today on like Netflix, it's only 8 episodes. That's it.
Right. 22 episodes. I was in the opening credits. I had a single card, just my name and my face. You know, the opening music and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The opening of the TV series. I was in the opening.
And where were you billed? First, second, third?
I think I was 4th.
4th? Okay, well that's good.
Right.
That's good. Let's see here. What, the solar opposite?
Right.
What was that?
Who did I play in that?
It says you played Arnold.
Right, Arnold. But who was Arnold? I have no
I
idea.
have no idea.
I have no idea who Arnold
One of the
was.
more memorable movies. That was in
Right.
1998. Okay. Nash Bridges, 5 episodes.
Right.
What'd you play on Nash Bridges? It says it's
Ira Buxbaum.
Ira Buxbaum, yes. Yes. And he was what?
He was a lawyer.
No. You played a lawyer?
Yes.
Boy, that was against type.
In Black Scorpion, I played a cop.
Here's Black Scorpion 2, Aftershock, the Drew Carey Show.
Oh, yeah.
2 episodes.
Right.
What did you do on that?
I'm not quite sure.
See? I wonder if we interviewed George Clooney and we read him his list, if he would
Right.
come up with as many I don't knows as you have.
Well, he might not have been absent for most of it, too.
Yeah. Don't quit your day job as the limo driver.
I have no. I don't even remember that at all.
Blood Fist?
Yeah, that was a Corman film.
I would believe it was a Corman film. With a name like that, Blood Fist, it had to be a
Right.
Corman film.
Right.
Let's see. Excessive Force?
Another Corman film.
Black Scorpion?
Corman.
Tales from the Crypt, the TV series.
Right.
That was not Corman.
No.
Mr. Saturday Night? Oh, yes, you were in that.
Right.
But didn't they use some already existent footage of you?
They used my MTV spot.
Okay, but you got paid for this picture because they
yeah.
used,
I got paid. I got paid more for the picture than I did from MTV.
Candyland?
Right.
Wow, you really do have quite a Howard the Duck, Light Blast. Now here comes the one that is just amazing because I remember you in this. It is burned into my brain.
What's that?
The Lady in Red. Folks, if you ever come across this movie, Kelly LeBrock, right?
Right.
Right?
And
You ever
Gene Wilder.
And who?
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder. If you ever come across this film, look at the credits. It says Stephen Kravitz.
Right.
Look at the picture. You will never
Nowhere.
find him.
Never shot a scene.
You never even shot a scene.
No, I was on the set for 2 days.
So why, if you were on the set for 2 days and you didn't have any lines and you're not in the movie, how did you get in the credits?
No, I was supposed to have lines. I had a scene to do, but they just cut the scene. They never shot it. They just went long, and they said,
But
we'll do it tomorrow.
were they required by union requirements to put you in the credits?
I think so.
Oh.
I think so.
Well, something, because you got paid and you got residuals, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. And then, of course, here's Sudden Impact, 1983. That was your first film. And you
Well, actually, Howard the Duck was my first film.
Really? Okay, maybe that's in order. This is in the order
Right.
of release.
Right.
I was involved with Howard the Duck peripherally. Because for the final
How's that?
scene, for the final scene where there was a concert, they had me wrangle an audience. I put the word out on my radio show, meet at the Warfield Theater at 10 o'clock if you want to be in a movie.
Right.
And I filled up the whole audience.
I bet you did.
And the only thing I remember about that situation was they start doing whatever they're doing, and out comes a guy dressed in a duck costume. And I go to the guy who is from Lucasfilm. Now that duck is going to be replaced by animation, right? He's just there so that people will have something to look at. And he said, no, that's the duck. And I looked back at him and I said, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, one of the worst mistakes ever made was
And
the way.
Howard the Duck was a great comic book.
Well, what was so great about Howard the Duck was he was a cartoon duck in a real world.
Right.
And so if they had just done it as an animated duck, they would have this was before Roger Rabbit.
Right.
And who did a lot of the technical stuff on Roger Rabbit? Lucasfilm, Industrial Light and Magic. They
Right.
had the ability to do it. They just didn't do it. And that could have been a successful movie had they done it. But I just remember sitting there looking at him and going, "You're in a lot of trouble."
Right.
Because it just
For that movie, I get to make out with this girl, and then the duck comes flying into the world. I get him right when he comes into the world, and I go, what the fuck?
Yeah. And you're kissing the actress in this scene.
Oh yeah,
Were you really kissing?
I tongued it.
Did you really?
Yes, sir.
If we look at the film, can we see the tongue?
I don't think so. I think it's just like a blink.
Yeah. She didn't mind it, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Because in this day and age, you'd be Me Too'd for that.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
This day and age, I'd be going to jail.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hey, listen, we've run out of time here.
Really?
Yes. I love talking about your career. I mean, it's more extensive than I ever remember it as being in film.
Is that right?
Yeah. So you had a good business in film.
I had a good run.
You probably could go back and get some character roles.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, and you've got the list of credits to get you in the front door, so
Right.
why not? They'll look at the credits and go, Howard the Duck, how can we possibly not audition him? Ladies and gentlemen, that is Steve Kravitz. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Alex.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 8th year of talk like you've never heard it before.
Yeah. It's true. I didn't know that Steve Kravitz's career was that extensive in film. And he was good at what he did. And I think he should give it a try again. But whatever. Hello, everybody. How are you? Except for one person, there is nobody waiting to come on this show. This happens every Thursday. And I'm beginning to think maybe there's no reason to do a show on Thursday. Okay? I mean, I'm feeling very out of it tonight and tired. I've been having this whole breathing thing, and I don't know what it is. I look all the things up. I use Google as my doctor, okay? And I look up each of these things and look for symptoms, and I don't have any of the symptoms of lung cancer, which I know I don't have because I had a CT scan about 4 months ago. And they found 2 little nodes on my lungs, but those aren't dangerous. One of them has been there for, since 2015, I think, which means that was nothing growing, okay? And the other one was a kind of node that is never, for the most part, about 99.9% of the time, not cancerous. So, and they were all small, so they weren't anything to worry about yet. Anyway, I didn't have any lung cancer then, so that's not a problem. I'm beginning to really think that it has to do with the work they're doing on the building, but it made me feel like crap today, just horrible, crappy crap. So, but I'm sure you're tired of hearing about me griping about my breathing and so on, so I won't even talk about it anymore. I'll just let you know when I'm dead, okay? All right? So anyway, if anybody's going to call, you better do it now, because if it's just Jeff and I'm just going to stick with that for about 10-15 minutes, and then I'm going to say that's it, because we don't have Jack right now. Jack is not going to be doing his show till January, okay? He won't be back till January. And it, has some health issues, and then there's some other issues which we don't want to talk about. And I mean, he'll let you know about them if he wants you to know them, but basically his health has had problems, over the last many months, as you know. And so he is not going to be doing his show. Tomorrow night, I'm probably going to have, if he can, have Josh do his hour. And I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I think I might just keep my show going and just turn it over to him. But anyway, be that as it may. Okay. Jack is not going to be doing his show tonight. And so because he's not doing his show tonight, if I go off right now, it's not going to impact anything. Okay. It will not end anything that's a seamless transition to the next show. So, it's the way it is, so. But, where are we? Okay, so we have 2 people now. Okay, well, I'll give it a try, and if I don't only have these 2 people within the next 10 minutes or so, I think I just might call this off early. You know, why not? But anyway, let's go and check in.
Which means that
Jeff got it fast. You got it. You're getting good at it, Jeff.
Nah, maybe I'm getting lucky.
Yeah, maybe you're getting lucky. How you doing tonight?
Thursday
How you doing tonight, Jeff?
Not too bad. Not too bad. You know, my wife's mother died the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry to hear that.
So
How old was she?
it's 93.
Oh, come on. That's pretty old. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you know, so,
I mean, send Pamela my best
Yeah.
wishes. Not,
her and her two sisters are here. And
I'm not saying best wishes. That's not good.
no, it's
Condolences.
Well,
Yeah.
people always say, "I'm so sorry for your loss," and when they said that to me when my father died, about the
boy.
20th person who said that to me, I just wanted to scream. You know, and then my mother died many years later, and again, it was, "We're so sorry for your loss." I mean, and I understand people don't know what to say, you know, and that's the best thing to say. So, send her my best, okay?
yeah, I will. I certainly will.
But I mean, what were you gonna say, Alan?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't gonna say.
I was just going to say, here it is, the Thursday 3 Jews again. This was last Thursday. The 3 Jews were on to start with. Other people joined in, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
they
know,
usually
I mean,
come.
but it just, I don't know what it is with Thursdays.
I don't know.
You know.
People don't want to listen to Phil. No, I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking now that Jack isn't doing his show anymore. I might move this show to another time slot.
On
You know.
Thursday?
No, all the time. You know.
So you're going to move them all for where Jack's show was at?
No,
Later?
no, earlier.
Earlier.
Yeah.
You know. What time is not available to you, Alan?
Anytime is okay with me, just for you, Al.
Damn it. I was hoping you'd give me a time when I could put this on.
Yeah, anytime. I'll don't worry, I'll be on your show. The only show that's too early for me is Monday. And I mean, if I had to, I could get up early, but you don't want me on the show, and so why go through it?
No, that's a different. That show is a different animal.
Right.
Than this.
I watch it afterwards, and I wouldn't fit in. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you realized that. And even if you did, I wouldn't pick up the phone. I wouldn't pick up the Zoom on you. So anyway.
It's okay.
Yeah. So I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. I just.
It's cold.
Well, that has something to do with it, but I think it's this work they're doing on the building. You know, on the drier days like today, when it isn't raining, it's worse than when it's raining because the rain tamps it down a little bit. But I think that when it dries, it's still sitting there on the sills outside the kitchen and outside the bathroom. And yeah, but I mean, don't open the window. It still can seep through the windows. This is an old building, you know, and these things seep through, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, oh, good. Well, we have yet another Jew joining us. Tony. Oh, wait a minute. He isn't Jewish. No.
As much as he complains, you think he would be. So
Yeah.
He's an honorary Jew.
Yeah. What do you think about this whole thing with the what's her name? I'm trying to remember her name now.
The lady from Russia, the United States,
the lady basketball player, being let go by the Russians, and we traded her for the Merchant of Death, I think was who.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a poor.
I don't know if I'm ever going to let a guy go named the Merchant of Death.
Nope.
You know.
Nope. It was a poor exchange.
Well, what they did is they exchanged her, but they didn't exchange the other guy who's there. And they said that they had to do it while they could do it, because the Russians said we're only going to trade 1 for 1. And what I would have said to them was, you want your goddamn merchant of death back? Okay? You take 2. He's worth 2. Okay? And they
Or
go,
gave him Donald Trump.
yeah, I mean, yeah. But I just found that a little, it bothered me a little bit that they didn't maybe, I'm sure they tried. In fact, Biden's people called the other family, I can't remember the guy's name now, and they called his family and told them that about the trade that was going to happen and that their relative, their brother, their husband, whatever, was not going to be let go. So was not part of the trade. And I don't know, I think it's kind of wrong. How do you guys feel about it?
Oh, that whole system between moving people from Russia to the United States, nobody's really willing to do this.
What do you mean?
And they make a big pain in the ass out of this whole thing forever.
Well, I mean, the Russians busted her because they knew she was worth something to them.
Yeah.
They knew that they would get the merchant of death out of this deal. Okay. And the thing is, with the other guy, I think they didn't make a deal. They said 1 for 1, and I think they didn't make the other deal because they're waiting to get maybe somebody else out. But we don't have anybody else in our prisons right now that we can give them.
They have the guys in Germany they're trying to get out.
Okay, well, yeah, but they're going to trade him for an American.
Oh, they're Russian guys. There are 2 Russian guys that are in Germany.
Yeah,
and that's what they want.
But they probably weren't as good as the Merchant of Death. You can't beat the Merchant of Death.
That's right. It's worth 10 cents.
Yeah.
Especially that they're at war. Maybe he can help them if they let him out. You never know.
They said that was the only deal on the table, and there's a lot of publicity pressure, a lot of public pressure. But when you have, unfortunately, I'll say this, but when you have people like Steph Curry and all these other people that are on there saying free her, at what expense? Well, and that's the part that everybody doesn't understand. There's an expense to letting her come back, and it was letting this guy go. And this guy's not a good guy. This is Putin needs this guy right now. He has everybody going back on him, and this guy is a loyal guy and does a lot of damage. They have a movie, right? That movie was made about this guy.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah, man, I forget what the movie was called, but there's actually a movie.
Maybe it was called The Merchant of Death.
Nicolas Cage was in. Nicolas Cage was in, and the movie was about this guy.
I seem to remember a movie he did about arms trading.
Yeah, and that was the guy. He's a really, really bad guy, and I wanted her back, but man, it's like at what expense? I think that's a tough one, and that Biden seems that was the only deal they had on the table.
See, I give this guy up. Go ahead. Why should we be feeding him? I mean, take him back, but let's trade him. Let's make it a good trade. He's worth something to the Russians. Give us both those people. 2 people are worth just him.
But Russia has a pulse on what's going on, and they're going to say no.
Well, no. What happened here, and I'm sure of it, is Biden's approval rating is down. And he wants his approval rating to go up. So what would make it go up to get this woman back, right?
And same with who else? Putin. Putin needs a little PR also for the Russians. And getting this guy back and saying, look at this lady is a basketball player, and I'm getting this guy back.
That's right. The arms dealer, biggest arms dealer in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's a poor trade, unfortunately. I feel for her, but at the same time, we're giving up somebody basically a terrorist. In exchange.
He is a terrorist. Yep.
Yep.
Let me look up IMDb here. I gotta find out.
He's made so many movies, Nick Cage. I've lost track.
Yeah, I know. And then he has a movie about him making movies.
Yeah,
that's how many movies he made.
I was like, that's him playing himself. I'm all confused.
That was a good movie. That was
I think his last good movie was Leaving Las Vegas. I could be wrong though. When he won the Academy
That's the
Award.
only good movie he ever made.
Gone in 30 seconds. But
Okay.
I like the cars.
Oh, I
Gone in
like the
50
one with
seconds.
I like Moonstruck, but that's really going back with Cher. Remember that was a good one with the wooden hand.
I just like the cars in Gone in 60 Seconds. But
Let me see here. Nick Cage.
Ay.
Hey man, I got Nick Cage. Now, where are all his movies? They don't have them here? Where? Come on, they got to be somewhere. Oh, give me a break. Come on. They don't list his movies. Nick Cage is known for. Oh, maybe this is a different Nick Cage. Let's try Nicholas. Nicholas.
Yeah, that could be it. You know, he changed his name from. I was reading a while back. I knew this a while ago. He's because he's really Nicholas Coppola. He changed the.
No,
Nick
it
Cage
isn't Nicholas Coppola. No,
I think
No.
it was.
I don't think it was Coppola. It was
I don't
something
think so.
else.
I'd have to check, but he changed it to Nick Cage because whatchamacallit, that's his favorite
here it is.
was Luke Cage.
Where
So he took
where
Cage as
is
name.
they say where is Lord of War streaming?
That's
Lord
the one.
of
Yeah,
War.
Lords of War, yes.
That was it.
Lord of War.
Well, I just was looking for it, and you found it before I could.
Actually, it was a top trending.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So,
the
so
top
that
trender.
movie is about him.
Yeah, that movie's about him. Yeah.
Do they
That's
use
what they said. Yahoo on Yahoo page. Top stories. Where is Lord of War streaming? How to watch the Merchant of Death Victor Boat movie. About movie.
Oh wow. Okay. I have to
Yeah, so you want to see how bad, and then you can watch like a WNBA game and see which one weighs a little more.
Yeah. But I mean, I would say that if I were president, I would say, okay, like we really want this Grainer back, but he's been there longer. you
Yeah.
know, and doesn't he deserve to be the first one out?
Oh, yeah, 15 years. And then, all these stupid Trump people are saying, "Oh, great deal, President. Why couldn't you get the Marine veteran and, hype this guy up?" And I'm like, "Hey, Trump was in office and you guys didn't get him out either. So stop pointing fingers."
Yeah, exactly. This guy's been over there about 4 years now.
I still think trading the two terrorists, the one from Russia and the one from America, called Trump.
Well, I read a thing, or I heard a thing. I heard a thing where, did you hear about this about Putin, that he fell down a flight of stairs and soiled his pants?
Oh no!
You can mix that one in. Then you see Trump going up the stairs to the airplane with the toilet paper there, and then
He's probably going to see Putin to help him because he soiled his pants.
Yeah, but the trouble is now Putin has probably shot and killed the guy that made the stairs.
Oh, jeez.
Nobody lives. They get
Yeah.
a poison dot in the neck.
Yeah. But I mean, I just felt bad about that this morning. I mean, I was happy that she got out. But at the expense of him, I think they should have driven a harder deal. But I think that for publicity purposes, Biden wanted this deal to go through.
I don't know.
Because I can't believe that if they didn't negotiate further, this guy was worth two of them. Okay? There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Everybody please don't say dirty words.
what? Okay.
What is that you had to do?
She's gonna change in sleeping clothes, so she's gotta take off her ballet thing. Oh, she's gonna pee. Sorry, she's gonna pee.
Well, we don't need to know that.
Hey, close the door. Please get out. Go do something.
She is going to. She's going to go pee on your bed.
No.
Yeah. She just
He
gets
said, "Don't
pretty.
say
She
anything
gets
dirty,
prettier
but-"
every day, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, as I say, you better keep a baseball bat by the door when she starts dating.
No, he's got a date with Phil and Alan to teach him how to use a gun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's cool. I talk with her on the way to dancing and stuff like that. Her heart and her everything is in the right direction. It's really good.
It also seems to me like isn't just that she loves you; that she really, you're good friends. Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, but I smacked her last night though because I haven't got mad at her in a while, but she's just taking too long to get ready for bed, and then I go into her room, see if she's sleeping, and she has the cat in her hands. It's like,
Well, you
oh
say
my
you
God.
slapped her. You didn't slap her. You probably.
I just yelled at her, and the cat got scared and ran out of the room. I felt bad for the cat first. Yeah, but no, she's other than that little stuff she does, good in school, and she's very kind. She's very kind to people. Yeah, so that's really good.
Yeah, no, she's a good kid.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah. My half brother that I don't see that often, and then he just got married. So families that side of my dad had like 5 kids, but I'm an only child. So that side of the family saw each other on his wedding last month. So he actually works some of the schools around here. He spends like an hour a day with different handicap, the handicapped people, the kids. So he works with them and does their physical education and physical therapy and stuff like that.
no,
So
this
he
is
bounced
your father.
around.
This is your birth father, right?
My father's son. Yeah.
Your
yeah,
father's.
son. So he's my brother. He's my half brother.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, we had the same father. So yeah, so he actually goes to her school and sees her now. So he saw her the other day and she's all happy. So yeah, so
Well, that's good. That's nice.
so she sees that. She sees how he is with those kind of kids, and so so it's really good.
And does she know her grandfather? Is there a grandfather come around? I mean, your father?
No, I buried all my family.
Oh, really? Oh, he's dead. Oh,
And my mom passed away when I was 13, and then
jeez.
yeah,
Well, how old was she?
she was 37.
What happened?
She had like phlegm in her throat and she had asthma, and it was Father's Day Eve. So my stepfather, his dad was in town. They were out all night, and so I think she had an asthma attack, and the congestion in her throat didn't help it, and sort of she suffocated. Yeah. So my dad came out and in the morning when I'm watching TV and called her dad in the kitchen, and then I ran in there to sort of see what was going on in the bedroom, and I saw her foot was sort of flat, so she was trying to get up, but she couldn't. So
Oh well, that's
sorry to bring that show down.
Yeah, how old were you?
Speaking of death, I was 13.
13, boy.
Yeah, and so I was an only child, and she raised me. So yeah, it was a pretty difficult time. So
And then what happened? Well, if you were an only child and she raised you,
yeah, so my birth father had one day with me, and then my stepfather, who she had just married, he adopted me. But then he took off with his girlfriend, so I never saw him. So I sort of raised myself. So
well, wait a minute, but who raised you?
I did.
No, but I mean you did. But what do? You're out on the street raising yourself?
No, we had a house, and he was gone. He was at his girlfriend's house in the same city, in Redwood City. He was with his girlfriend all the time. I'd see him like once a month. He would come by and yell at me.
And you were 13 at the time?
13 till I graduated, and then I left when I was 17.
Well, I bet you were a terror in Redwood
Well,
City.
I'm about ready to say that you probably didn't have any good feelings about your father for that.
Yeah, mixed feelings. Yeah.
What the hell? You could do whatever you want in the house. I mean, you were 14. With the
Well,
whole
you know, you're supposed to. They say you're.
I had a lot of parties.
They say you're supposed to love your parents, right? But you know something? If they're assholes, there's no rule that you have to.
Now you know why I had Adrian at 48.
Yeah.
Well,
you don't make me ask it. Is Alex?
But you're a great father.
Yeah, well, my father had 5 kids with 3 different women, and so yeah. So I saw that, and I said, I'm not having a kid until.
Who does he think he is? Nick Cannon?
No.
So you're kind of making up for your father being a jerk, and you're going the extra mile to make sure that you're a good father to her, right?
Yeah, I'm getting old anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, really.
Plus, she shows an interest in something, so that's like. I mean, what else could you ask for? When you have some kid who is passionate about something, I mean, it's awesome.
Well, Brian Sigmund has joined us, as you may notice. So here we have the Brian conundrum again.
Too many.
Two Brians and three Jews. Is that what we're saying?
Tony's,
Tony.
Tony's, you know, kind of, it's hard to tell. He's an honorary Jew.
Honorary Jew.
Somebody wrote me when I said, you know, like, why is nobody here on Thursdays? They said, Thursday night football, silly.
It's a bad game tonight, boy.
So they've had terrible games.
Yeah,
and it's not on regular cable. It's on Amazon Prime, so you have to log on. Yeah, nobody's watching that stuff. They have the Raiders.
Listen, I got a gripe about Amazon. You know, they've started doing their own deliveries, if you've noticed. And in my apartment, whenever there's like a small package, like a DVD or something, or a micro memory card or whatever, you know, they deliver it right to my front door. But when they've got a package that on it says heavy, be careful lifting, they leave that down in the foyer downstairs.
Do they take the picture of it, Alex? They do that to me by my house.
Yeah, they take a picture and then they say try. Then they send me a note saying try lifting this motherfucker. You know, I mean, the other day they left one down there, and I said I'm getting older. I'm not able to lift like I used to, and I'm carrying this thing up, and it's just.
Are you cursing them out going up the stairs?
What?
Are you cursing them out going up the stairs?
Oh, it just, well, I'm just wondering, you know, if you can deliver a small little package, why can't you bring the big one?
You can get it here in 6 hours, but you can't get it to my fucking door.
Right, exactly.
My ring shows them throwing the package onto the porch, and then they take a picture. I'm like, no, nice.
They double back.
Yeah, they love taking those pictures, don't they?
I saw that. I got my book. I saw this. Good.
Have you tried bribing them to not throw the package on?
That's a good point.
They used to do that here, and so what I do is, you know, a couple times a week, when I have packages delivered, I leave a bottle of water out on the porch for them.
Oh, that's nice.
And then now they're being a lot more gentle with my package on my porch.
How many different delivery people do you have?
Well, I don't know, UPS and Fed Up, but mainly UPS and Amazon.
Well, I got an Amazon delivery today, and down here, somebody took a picture the other day when they were here and showed it on the Monday show. Underneath my desk here is a nest of wires, because, you know, once you start plugging in one plug and another plug, and then you have to add another power thing, what do they call them, power strip, and then you add another power strip. I have, how many power strips here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 7 power strips.
And they're all plugged into one plug?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, because a lot of the stuff that is using it doesn't pull a lot of electricity. Okay, so what I decided to do was I went and bought a $30 power strip that holds 22 plugs, and it has about 8 plugs that you can do the blocks, because there's a lot of room there, and then down the center are just regular plugs. So
Alex,
I'm thinking this weekend of hooking those all up, but I'm just afraid to, because I'm afraid I won't be able to figure out how I got all that electricity going to whatever, and something's not going to go on, you know, and I'm still trying to figure out.
You know, you talked last night about getting Jack one of your old Apple computers.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has so much trouble turning on a computer. I don't know.
Well, I think that this would be easier than a PC for him. I mean, I don't know. Do you have a Mac? No. Who has a Mac here? Any of you guys?
I do.
So you know how it's relatively easy to use in comparison to other computers.
It only took
Yeah.
Jeff 3 years to learn how to turn it on.
So what I'm going to do is, if I put this thing together for him, I'm going to put it together, and I'm going to load in just the 3 or 4 programs he needs to do a show,
Right?
and then he can just, you know, go from there.
That's a
you know,
good idea.
and have it all configured and everything. It would probably be easy for him, you know. But anyway, let me see here. So what else is in the news?
Harry and Meghan. I just watched the three.
I watched
three
it too.
episodes.
You know something? That was pretty good. Didn't you
Yeah,
think?
I changed my opinion of him because I had this suspicion that Meghan was a troublemaker, and and then I watched it. I'm like, oh, I love these people. You know,
You know something? She
yeah.
comes off as very smart, very bright, and very committed. I mean, she was doing a lot of before she ever went with Harry. She was working with the UN, and she was doing a lot of good works. So you know, whatever you think of her, this thing makes you think otherwise.
Yeah, and it's really basically an indictment on the press, and you can't think that Meghan somehow hoodwinked Harry into turning against the royal family life, because the press killed his mother. You know, so it's I don't know. I thought it was really well done.
The thing they show there, at least in these, there are 3 more episodes that are on next week. Okay, and probably there they start talking maybe a little bit about the arguments within the family about her. But they were talking about how just the British press was vilifying her because of her race.
Oh, some of his headlines were unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can see why he got her out of there. You know, he probably wanted to protect her and his family from what was a very racist climate that was out against her.
This documentary was the way. Sorry to interrupt you. Was the way to do it. The Oprah interview just that just did not. That went over like a lead balloon.
Well, because Oprah's going to ask all the questions that are going to, you know, get ratings and you know, make news and so on and so forth. And this thing chose to really just try and show them in a light that they feel they wanted to be shown in, which was her as a very intelligent person. I mean, I can see very much what he found, what he fell in love with in this documentary. And you can also see that they're very much in love with each other. So, you know. But I mean, just the whole deal with her father.
Oh,
you know, they disinvited him to the wedding because he sold pictures to the press of himself working out and getting ready for it and all of that. And
It sounds like he skipped, which actually I didn't think any of that looked all that bad. It was kind of endearing, a little bit, like, you know, dad getting ready to, you know, go on the world stage. But those conversations when he went in the hospital, it sounded more like he skipped out of the wedding because he got embarrassed.
yeah,
You know, he got caught being a little shady.
I often wondered how the royal family, off the grid, felt about Meghan's mother being there, who was very black. You know, it had to have somehow, you know, it wasn't what they were used to. It wasn't in their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I thought the same thing, because when you saw her in contrast with everybody in the church, and then you go, yeah, you know, it makes you wonder. But her mom came across great in the documentary. Real sweet woman, smart woman.
oh, very smart.
Yeah. I found her quite. That's why I'm glad I watched the documentary, because I was just I had a preconceived notions that were opposite of what
You
I
probably
saw.
felt by watching it you'd hate her even more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I found I really liked her. I really felt she was terrific.
Yeah.
You know?
And so of course, right before I saw you, that you guys were live on my YouTube feed, I had to type in reaction, you know, to this, you know, the Meghan and Harry reaction, and Piers Morgan he comes, oh God, he just cannot stand him. He like the whole time he was watching it, whatever lens he was looking through, nothing changed his mind on them, and it was, I don't know. And then I was looking at the British tabloids headlines after, you know, because this thing released like early this morning, like 4 a.m, and they just do not let up. They're just stirring so much shit. Yeah, how much shit could you stir over what you saw?
You can't.
I know
You can't.
They-
But
they're
Piers
troublemakers.
Morgan, by the way, is the guy, Rupert Murdoch's News Corp was charged with like doing a lot of hacking of people's phones, including Harry's. Right? And you know who was ordering that up when he was at Rupert Murdoch's little newspaper? Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan's a real asshole. Absolute asshole.
Her dad's, right up to the wedding, her dad's phone got hacked, apparently.
Yeah.
And like completely cut him off. So what if that was him? Right?
Yeah.
If they're doing hacking, I mean, their phone totally got compromised.
Yeah.
And then someone was posing as him, trying to talk to Meghan and Harry.
Yes. That was like this kind of stuff Piers Morgan would do. They would go in, hack the phones, and then start sending texts that looked like he was sending them. It's just horrible. Just horrible.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't blame him at all for getting out of Dodge and getting away from that family. I think he still gets money. He still gets a stipend of one sort or another.
And even if he doesn't, $100 million deal with Netflix.
Was it $100 million deal?
That's what the sleazy tabloids say.
Well, God, you know something? I'd tell more than they told there. But I mean, it's really amazing. It's just amazing. And I thought I would hate the documentary. I told Marjorie, you watch it, I'm not going to watch it. And I watched about 5 minutes of it, and it kind of grabbed me. And then I kept watching it, we watched all 3 episodes this afternoon and looked at each other and went, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not what we thought it was. Not the cheap, sleazy kind of, let's go get our royal family, let's rat on the family thing we expected it to be. So, But I'm trying to think, what else was in the news? There were a couple other things in the news, and I completely, phased out on them. So, excuse me for having done so. But the biggest story is, of course, the basketball player getting released from Russia. And,
all my buddies are upset about that.
We're all upset about it. Because we think the guy, they shouldn't have they should have made it a 2-person deal and just held out for it. Because let's face it, Putin wanted this guy back. After all, your arms merchant is a very important person in your life,
Sure.
And they should have they just should have dug their heels in and said, no, both of them or nothing, But I think Biden was so anxious to make a deal so he'd look good, that he
just
just
only going to look good for a short time.
Huh?
People are going to forget about this in a couple weeks,
and they'll look bad again.
What if it was a smart deal?
Huh? What?
What if it was a smart deal? What if this arms dealer is either knowingly or unknowingly compromised, and maybe he's worth more on the outside than we thought?
What do you mean?
That's about as hopeful as you can get with looking at that deal.
I'm just saying. What do you mean by that? That we have gotten to him and he's spilled the beans on everything, and now we're sending him back to do our dirty work?
Or no, or now sending him back to maybe a certain death. Maybe we're sending him back and his connections are compromised and he doesn't know it.
No, but he can't be killed because he's the merchant of death, and he sells it.
The terrorist.
Well, of course, I have no evidence for this. I just shit like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we just want to make sure, that you're...
This is an evidence-based show, Brian.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's why we bring Phil in on Wednesdays.
I loved it when all those news agencies would go after Jon Stewart, and Jon Stewart just say, "This is a fake news show. What are you guys all upset about us about?"
Yeah, it's a fake. It is a fake news show, right?
Right.
Yeah.
How long was the guy in United States?
Huh?
How long was he in the United States?
Who? Like this guy?
Yeah.
He had been here. I seem to think something like 6 years or something. He's been here.
Yeah, he has like 7 more. He had 7 more years on his sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, gee, he should have just waited. You know.
Held out. Yeah.
Celine Dion has been diagnosed with incurable neurological disease. Did you hear about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too much cocaine?
It's called, what is it? Are you ready for the name of this disease?
Sure.
Stiff person syndrome.
Get over that. Never heard that.
Person.
It's stiff person syndrome. I thought that's what you got from
Stiff.
taking Cialis.
I thought that was a good thing.
Yeah, I thought it was a good thing too.
Yeah.
But let me see here. I'm trying to see here. I'm looking at Drudge.
Oh,
Let's
me
see
too. That's funny.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're just going to glaze over the vagina on a chip?
What'd you say?
Maybe that's only on yours.
I think it's funny because the two of us are both looking at Drudge, and right underneath the stiff person syndrome is, scientists have designed a vagina on a chip.
Oh, really? What is that all about? There's something.
I think it's
to
only on Brian's.
No, it says Dr. Don Inger makes organs for a living using flexible pieces of silicone carved with tiny channels. He grows tissues that can mimic the complex physical interactions between cells and fluids, creating malleable three-dimensional models of organs. Well, over the past decade, he has made more than 15 of these organ chips, including those simulating lungs, livers, intestines, and skin. And now he's described in a paper published last month that he's added a far less studied organ to the list, the vagina.
That's a good. I read the article because I said, oh, wow, that's going to get a lot of use in the future. And apparently it's all about studying the microbiomes down there and how you can't get women to test products because, it's very delicate, personal area. So now they can do all these like wild testing that they want to do. I mean, and that's what he's saying, but I think this shit's going to be on the market soon. People are going to be flying off the shelf.
Well, yeah, I guess. But
personal testing.
See, now, how's the viewership going now? This should be raising, I hope.
Yeah, you have to have a Windows computer or Mac computer to get it.
But anyway, I just there's not a lot to talk about, now that all the election stuff is over with. And well, how are you feeling about Trump, Tony, lately?
I can't.
Where is he?
I can't get behind him anymore, Alex.
Well, you got behind him for about a minute and a half, I think.
I mean, he wanted to rip up the Constitution. Now, come on. Do you think this is, do you think he's losing his mind, or is this just really him?
I think he lost his mind a long time ago.
Yeah.
No, he's a sociopath. I mean,
yeah,
that's the problem. I want to know what's going on with the people that are following him because, first of all, everybody I ever voted for, I ripped them a new asshole the day after they got elected. I voted for Obama twice, and I complained about him through his entire presidency. That's what I wish people had. Like, you have to make excuses for Trump, like he's an extension of yourself. Like, what is this compulsion to protect him?
I think they tried to tell Herschel Walker that he was a sociopath, and he said, "No, he's not. He's democratic." Yeah,
Did he concede?
Well, yes, he did. It was a very nice concession speech. It was a very nice concession speech. I didn't understand a word of it, but it was a very nice concession speech.
Can we quote you on that? What is he talking about?
I mean, I had to get one last Herschel Walker joke in before it expires.
It was done in Ebonics.
Watch out.
So Tony, when did you? So you were a Trump supporter, and then when did you tell him?
Actually, I never voted for the man. Thank God. But you know what it was? I think Phil. I'm not trying to blame him. He was starting to rub off on me a little bit. I think I was frustrated more with Biden because I didn't like the way he was running the country, the buyback. I just didn't think like Biden was being proactive enough on issues. And then I'll be honest. I got so disgusted that I think I said, well, who knows? In 4 years, if this country's running to shit, maybe I would vote for Trump, kind of like that. But I can't see myself.
But you know, you look at Biden, and you know all the things they blame him for, which a lot of them are not his fault. But some of the things he's done, gas prices nationally are down to $3.30 a gallon.
I heard Phil say last night it's $5 by him.
Well, that's
he's in Walnut Creek. And he's stupid. Yeah, that doesn't.
No, what are the gas?
What are the gas station in Walnut Creek?
I pay super, and that's
see him coming
and it's under $5 now. It's under $5.
You can find regular for.
Now that's in a state where you have a lot of taxes thrown on to your, you know.
Absolutely.
Every time they need a new tax, they put it on gas. Where other states don't have gas taxes, but the average nationally is $3.30. There are probably some states in which it goes below $3.
Besides the strategic reserve, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I never really pinned on presidents. And so besides the strategic reserve, you know, playing with that a little bit, I mean, does it really matter what the gas prices are, you know, with presidents in office? I mean, it's almost like, you know, it's like all the people I know that always vote Republican because their only interest is the stock market.
Well, you know, what can any one individual do about gas prices or the cost of living? You know, prices go up, prices go down. They have nothing to do with. I mean, why would the price of a hamburger go up? Because of a particular individual. You know, all those shitholes that were running for Congress who were going, elect me and I'll go to Congress and I'll lower the gas prices. Mm-hmm. No, you're not. There's no way you're going to be able to lower the gas prices on your own. There's nothing Congress can do short of saying, let's go into the national supply and make it cheaper that way, that we're going to be able to even solve this problem. You know, it's going to have to come down because it comes down.
Alex, do you remember when Newt Gingrich came out and said we should look into having a national oil policy?
Mm-hmm. A national
oil policy.
What's a national oil policy?
It's basically socializing our oil to gas production. And it was a position he took. It was a very convenient position he took. And I was like, what? And, you know, he says it like unapologetically, like nobody was going to think any further into it. You know, if you don't remember it, it has no effect. I'm just saying that's the flim-flam that you get with these people that are just, you know, trying to keep their popularity up. I mean, I
interviewed Newt Gingrich twice, and in both cases found him to be an absolutely disgusting, vile human being.
Really?
But the first time I interviewed him, I was civil to him. Okay? I didn't ask any gotcha questions because I wanted him to come back. So we had a fairly decent discussion, although I challenged him on a couple of things and so on. But the second time he came by, I said, this is the time he bit the bait here. Okay? Now I'm going to get him good. And at one point during the interview, I said to him, let me ask you a question. You a religious man? He said, yeah. I said, you go to church every Sunday? He says, yes, as much as I can. And I go, good. I said, how come on the day of the Lord's Day and the day of rest, you're on all those Sunday talk shows? And he couldn't answer the question. He just gave me a look like, and then he kind of like, I guess he tried to give some kind of bad answer. But I always wondered why these guys are so damn religious are all, you know, I mean, I can see why Chuck Schumer's on the Sunday shows because he goes to synagogue on Saturday, you know? But why do all these people who say they're so religious, they all show up on the Sunday morning shows? I never could figure that one out. You know.
Money, 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 money.
Yeah, but he was just a prick. Just an absolute prick. Did not like him. And I've had a couple of people on who I did like, who were Republicans, and they were asshole Republicans, but I liked them. Buchanan was one who I actually liked because I felt he was smart. I didn't agree with him, but he was smart. And, you know, but anyway.
I remember in the Sirius XM days, you talk about Tucker Carlson.
Well, I used to be on his show every week.
Is that right?
Yeah, when he was on MSNBC, believe it or not.
Were those the bow tie days?
No, this was. I don't think he was doing the bow tie anymore.
Okay.
You know, I never met him, oddly enough, because he did the show. I don't know if they don't do it now at MSNBC, but in those days, all the MSNBC shows came from New Jersey because they had a big studio over in New Jersey, and there's a whole story about why that existed at NBC. That was because they didn't want. Well, that was because they didn't want to have to pay. There was a tax on any film coming into Manhattan in those days, and so they had a studio that fed all the film from New Jersey, so they wouldn't have to pay the taxes. But anyway, those same studios were used to house a lot of the MSNBC programs, and Tucker Carlson did his show from New Jersey. Meanwhile, I was in a studio in New York with a camera looking at me, and I was, you know, that's how I appeared on the show. So I never met Tucker. You know,
I remember you always talking about him, so the name was in my head.
Yeah. He was very good to me. He was very good to me.
And you would say that. So, but I didn't know anything about him. And then I saw an interview with him on the Rubin Report, and it's just what a great interview. It made him look like just the average guy. But then I watched him on Fox. Like, this is the fucking guy Alex is talking about. I mean, I can't believe my eyes when I watch this show.
Well, he got fired off of CNN. Okay, that's where he started. He did the point counterpoint show or whatever that show was, where they would have two opposing views, and then they would have two other people who had opposing views, and then they would argue with each other. I can't remember what was the name of that show. It was, oh God, I forget now. But anyway, but they let him go on that. So then he went over to MSNBC, and he did the show there, and that didn't work out for him. So he finally wound up. He wasn't working for a while, and then he wound up on Fox. And I think he just said, "I'm going to do anything it takes to keep this job," you know. And so he became the Tucker Carlson we know today. I can't say that he wasn't a right-winger when I was on his show, but he was a very reasonable right-winger. Okay, I could have a discussion with him. He used to put me on with a right-winger from Florida, and we used to debate back and forth for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, once a week on Fridays. It was a regular feature for about 10 weeks. And until MSNBC said, get rid of that segment, it's not working, you know, so.
Well, he does this thing where he asks questions, like he's just asking a question, and it annoys the piss out of me because the question itself insinuates the answer he wants you to have, but he has this plausible deniability that he's stoking shit. And it to me, it's like
well,
like
what I can't stand about Tucker is that stupid face he always has.
Yes. I agree.
It's just a constant stupid face, you know. He's like he's in amazement with everything around him, you know, and yet he gets phenomenal ratings. He gets better ratings than Hannity. Yeah.
In fact, they just released the ratings, didn't they? It's right here. Oh no, these are networks.
No, these are various news outlets and how they do and how many people are watching them or whatever. No, actually, this is web pages being watched. He'd like to put it up because down there is somewhere is Drudge Report. It's down there around number 6 or something like that. So, you know. But, you know, I mean, what I hate most about these right-wing talk show hosts is they're doing what they're doing to make money. They're not. It's not like they have those feelings because they really believe them. You know, I have to say that, and I'm not a big fan of MSNBC, but I will have to say that I find the hosts on MSNBC seem to care about what they're saying. You know, whereas I never felt that Hannity was the real deal. You know, I never felt that Tucker was the real deal. They all seem like people who know where their bread is buttered, and they're going to get that bread buttered at any cost, even to their own shame. I don't know, what is that noise tonight? Is that one of your computers making clunking noises?
Somebody's cell phone.
Hmm?
I'm not gonna give the person up, but somebody, when that phone happens, their little yellow thing around them lights up.
Who?
I can't give them up.
No, come on,
Brian.
Was it?
What
Not,
thing?
not,
Oh
not,
no, it's my click. Oh, it's my mouse.
There we go.
It's your mouse. Okay, I just want to know what it was. I don't care.
It was there last night too.
I don't care.
Yeah, and don't worry, no noises like that would come from New Jersey. You're safe.
Just horns.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is. Wow. I didn't know it was that sensitive.
I think you can probably do something on your computer to silence that. Actually,
Yeah.
Oh, now you're gonna do it all the time, okay?
Yeah, because he's clicking around. Oh, he muted himself. That's not.
No,
good.
don't mute yourself. You don't have to mute yourself.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. No, just let me know. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Let me see here. So anyway, I don't. We got about 2 minutes left. Anybody want to say something? Is there any?
Yeah, I had a friend pass away last week, really bad.
Really?
She pancreatic cancer. She's only 50.
Wow.
Really?
In a year. Yeah, she's a good friend of mine. About 30 years. Very beautiful outside, works out, eats good and all that stuff, and hit her January last year. And it's like, you know, she says it doesn't matter. She was Miss California like 2008. I mean, she says it doesn't matter the good food you put in your body or how you work out or how you look on the outside. All the inside is going to take you when it takes you.
Well, I'm here to tell you, it's definitely a lot of it has to do with age. Not that age that when you're younger and you get it, it's much deadlier than if you're older and you get it.
Mm.
You know, I mean, I got it, and I got it, and it was completely curable, or at least hopefully.
You got prostate cancer. He said.
Yeah, this is pancreatic cancer.
That's the worst.
That's the bad one.
Well, that's what my ex-wife Ronnie had.
Yeah.
You know, only she had an operation for it called the Whipple procedure, which is they take away half your guts, but it does work, and it did work with her, but that wasn't what killed her. It's just the cancer spread somewhere else. You know.
Usually, by the time they find that you have that cancer, it's at stage 4 cancer.
Well,
already.
when my friend Bill Hicks got it, they told him you have pancreatic cancer. You have 6 months to live. Go home and make your peace with everything. You know, they just send you home. They just say that's it. There's nothing we can do for you. You know, but occasionally, in about 10% of the cases, they can do this Whipple procedure, and in about half of those, the odds are really going down here, but about the half of those people actually survive, you know. And the day will come when we can. The problem with pancreatic cancer, and then I gotta start the theme here. With pancreatic cancer.
There's no show later.
What?
There's no show later. Don't put pressure on us.
Well, no. I'm saying that the pancreatic cancer is, by the time they find it, it's too late. So if they have new procedures that can find it earlier, they can maybe save a lot of lives from it. But you know, there'll be a day when they have a cure for it. They can take care of it and so on. But it was like my father's pituitary tumor. He died from it, and a few years later, they could operate on a pituitary tumor. So it's all a matter of medicine. Hey, that's our theme song, folks. Hey, it turned into a pretty good little hour of whatever, you know. Jeff, thank you so much. Nice seeing you.
Around,
and my best to your wife, and tell her I'm sorry for her loss. Now punch me. Alan, thank you so much. Tony, you've been so quiet tonight.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
I gotta
got-
send you some more coffee.
Yeah, oh yeah. Brian, thank you, and other Brian, thank you. All of you, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a wave goodbye at you, okay? And there they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight, and they will reconvene again tomorrow night. There's no Jack Bishop tonight. There won't be till January, okay? So get used to it. In the meantime, that's it for me. We'll see you again tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.